Good afternoon, yogis. Welcome to Team Stretch. Just a nice 15 to 20-minute break from your day. We've got Miss Pepper Jones here in the house, nicely healed up from her space surgery. And today I thought we would focus on spinal decompression. So what does that mean, right? Our spine is a series of stacked vertebrae, and in between we have this kind of squishy gel-like material of the spinal discs. So what we're looking to do today is to elongate the spine and alleviate the pressure on those discs. So this can come just from sitting, sleeping, walking, working, being alive, right? So we're gonna find a way to decompress ourselves. What you will need is enough space to lie down. A yoga mat is nice. Well, you could do these stretches in your bed. I highly recommend that you have some kind of firm surface. So that's gonna really help to, again, elongate that spine. So make sure that you set up your space for comfort. I'm gonna take off my glasses here and make my way into our mat. Go ahead and start up in a nice seat. So you'll have your feet down about hips distance apart. And you can slowly begin to recline if you want to create a little bit of core strength, kind of control that descent until you nicely land. So I'm going to scoot my heels up closer towards my hips. Feet again are hip distance apart. And then just kind of elongate your spine by shimmying your shoulders up. You tuck the shoulder blades in a little bit. We're going to bring one hand to our heart and one hand to our belly. As always, before we start practice, we'll start to deepen with the breath. So you can stay here. You can bring the feet a little bit wider and let the knees rock in for what we call resting pose. That's going to help to create some space in the low back, the sacrum. So hands somewhere on the body, just to feel that rise and fall of the breath. Gently close the eyes. And start to breathe in through the nose. Inhale. And out the nose, exhale in equal measure. Notice the rise and fall of your lower palm as you engage your diaphragm, breathing in, ballooning, expanding out. And as you exhale, that natural drawing in, the navel coming towards the spine. You can start this breath low and slow, and then start to notice from the diaphragm, the lifting into the ribs, the side bodies and heart, the top palm lifts. Again, that exhale, the heaving of the chest, sighs out gently, relaxing down into the belly. So see if throughout today's session, you can keep this nice and steady breath. You can release your hands by your side. Go ahead and walk your feet back in so that they're underneath your knees if you took that variation. And like you're sleeping in, nice big stretch the arms up overhead. So inhale, lift the arms up again. You might need to navigate some more space. Shimmy those shoulder blades back down as you stretch the fingertips up overhead. So you may notice as you do so, you find this natural kind of bowing, this little pocket of air underneath the low back. What I want you to do is press down, so gently tilting the pelvis, kind of pushing your belly button down. So we have the spine completely flat against the ground. That should feel pretty good. If this is too much for you, you can also goalpost the arms, kind of create a diamond shape overhead. Let's take about 3 breaths here. So each inhale, elongating and expanding. Each exhale, just simply hold that space or just allow any tension or tightness to soften. Beautiful. Let's take one more big inhale, stretch. Exhale, draw the knees into the chest, wrap your hands around your shins and squeeze in. If you want, you can lift your nose towards your knees for a little bit of core strength, squeezing in and release. Keep those knees tucked in nice. Again, the low back is flat. And then I might feel good here just to kind of rock side to side. Or create some little circles, like a little low back massage. Go ahead and take those circles in the opposite direction. We're going to continue to hug the right knee in, but release that left leg back down to the mat. So you're squeezing in. You can option for a little bit of core strength here, a little kind of curl in, kissing your knee. And exhale, release the head and shoulders. Let the arm bones be nice and heavy. So I want you to take this leg and extend it long, but flex that foot nice and strong as if you were standing on the ground. We're activating this leg here. Squeezing that right knee in. A little bit of pressure. You can find some ankle circles here. A little pops in. Go ahead and take those circles in the opposite direction. And then isolating this knee, we're going to find some circles for the hips. So use your hand to guide this standing leg, rather laying leg, nice and firm down on the ground. Kind of consider that as your anchor. Go ahead and take those knee hip circles in the opposite direction. And then just hang out for a bit, letting the knee kind of open. You can have your hands on the knee, or for more of a stretch, find your half happy baby, reaching through the outer blade of the foot. Draw that leg down and then press your flexed foot to the sky. So both legs are engaged, both feet flexed. Awesome. Go ahead and bring that knee back towards center and release. We'll bring both legs long, kind of shake that one leg out. It might even feel just a hair longer than the other. Hopefully we've released some of that hip flexor tightness. Take a cleansing breath here, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Gently begin to hug your left knee in or your opposite knee, again squeezing in. This right leg this time is your anchor, nice and strong, flexing that foot down. Hug this knee in, squeezing gently. Maybe you find some ankle circles. One direction, and then the other. Keeping that straightened leg nice and strong. Slowly begin to open the knee out and then find some circles for the hips. Best effort to kind of keep your low back stapled down to the ground so we don't have, again, that little pocket of air. Make sure you do those circles in both directions. And then take the hip to the side just to hang out for a few beats. Again, it can stay here or find your half happy baby. Both feet flex, elongating and stretching. Keeping your steady breath in through the nose and out through the nose. Let's do one more breath in and out here. Slowly release, drawing that knee back towards center and down the length of your mat. Inhale once again, arms overhead. This time, toes can point. You can grasp your hands and stretch them overhead. Big breath in. Exhale, slowly start to walk your hands and your feet towards the left corner of your mat. So you're creating kind of a half moon shape here. You should really feel this underneath the armpit and the lat muscles, maybe side bodies, obliques, hip flexors of this top leg here. And the goal is to look for length. So Think of separating that little space between the top of your hip bone and your lower rib cage. Each breath fanning those ribs a little wider. Awesome. We're going to slowly come back through center, starfish, like you got the bed to yourself. And exhale over towards the right side. Doing that same stretch here, we call this banana asana. Finding the space between each rib, between each vertebra. One more big breath in and out. And then back through center, starfish, stretch it out. Exhale, hug the knees into the chest. Option to lift the nose for a little core strength. Release the head, neck, and shoulders down. So we're gonna find a little bit of core strength here. That's gonna help to stabilize the spine. So we've been hugging our knees in like this, but what I want you to do is to bring the knees over the hips and then flex the feet, letting go of that little air bubble by really pressing the low belly down and just hold. So a little guide here is to use your hands, kind of press your knees, elongating the spine, squeezing in for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep the legs, arms like a T. Breath in and exhale. Release the knees towards the left for a supine twist. You can drop your hip away from your low ribs. Again, looking to create that space. You can bring this left hand to your knee. Right palm stretching open, gaze up at the ceiling or over your opposite hand. Give yourself 3 to 5 breaths here. Really release that top hand back into your kind of T shape here. So arms are spread nice and wide. And again, engaging that core strength. See if you can lift the knees back to that starting position, back in center. Well done. Big breath in and exhale, twist to the opposite side. Oh, you might even get like a little pop. Whenever I do, I'm like, oh yes. A lot easier when I was younger, that's for sure. You can use this hand to guide your knee down, creating that space in your hip. If you've ever been to a chiropractor, you may have seen this kind of adjustment where they'll elongate the hip, draw the shoulder down, and look to create that space by wringing out the spine. So feel free to give yourself that little self-assist. 3 to 5 breaths. You finished your last exhale. We'll return those arms like a T. Last time, draw the knees back up towards center. This time you can hug them to the back of the thighs. And we're gonna find a little bit of rocking here. So just kind of creating a little massage on either sides of the vertebra, having a little bit of play. Just one or two more. We're going to take this momentum to meet into an easy seat. All right, so one last final decompression stretch for today is going to be child's pose. So finding a rounding of the spine. You're going to bring your knees together. And I want you to curl your toes for this variation. So this variation really helps you to find a stretch in the low back. And we're also stretching the backs of the feet. So walk the hands forward, and so you can connect your forehead down to the block or to the mat. You can kind of use this to stretch the hips back towards the heels. Maybe you feel this a bit here. We'll just take a couple breaths here with the toes curled. I know that can be a lot of intense sensation. You can use that steady breath to breathe through it. Might even feel good to kind of round up and then press back a few times. Whatever feels good for you. Going where there is resistance, but not pain. Slowly releasing the tuck of the toes. You can widen your stance, knees wide, and come and relax in a more subdued child's pose. Now, if this is too much of the arms up overhead, feel free to fold the arms, or you can even round them back behind you. And just give yourself this moment of stillness before you go off into the rest of your day. Very, very slowly begin to lift yourself up. You can sit on the back of the heels if that's accessible for you for a moment of Virasana pose. Again, you can return one hand to the belly, one hand to the heart. Coming back to the breath, using that as your true anchor to get you through your day. As simple as tethering yourself to this present moment by breathing in and out. Both the light and the dark that reside within me. Honor and recognize that within each and every one of you. Namaste. Thanks so much, yogis. Appreciate you joining me this afternoon. Hopefully we'll have the new audio and maybe visual for next week. I've learned through practice that everything requires a dongle. So that one is on its way. Only things to improve from here. So thank you again.